Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. You can get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/ConversationCast. There are over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle or MP3 player. Sophie Kinsella made a name for herself, writing books about women who liked shopping. One woman in particular, she called her the Shopaholic. Now, I interviewed Sophie in a rather plush hotel in London, and I went down to reception to find her, and I wasn't quite sure what she looked like. But there she was. I knew it was her, because she got the shopping bag. They say there are men who like shopping. Nah. It cannot be true, but my gosh, there are women who like shopping. Sophie Kinsella, she chronicles the phenomenon. The latest is called Shopaholic Abroad. I was looking for you in reception of this hotel, and you were the one with a shopping bag.
I was the one, I confess it. Just one though, quite reasonable.
Yeah, so what's the autobiographical element?
Yes, well, they do say write about what you know, and I took this to heart. No, seriously, I'm not like my heroine in that I'm not compulsive and out of control, but I like shopping. Who doesn't? And when I thought of this as a topic of comedy and humour and entertainment, it was just too good to resist. So I thought I would just write down what everyone else is thinking. In fact, when I was writing it, I did think, will anybody else get this? You know, is it just me who goes into shops and thinks, oh, well, it's on sale, so it's saving money? But it turns out quite a lot of people do think like that too. Oh, yes, absolutely. You don't have to be female to think like that. Well, no, I don't think it is just a female thing, actually. I think men do shop. I think men are worse than women. Oh, yes, but we don't, you see, we hang around different sorts of shops. You do. You like your gadgets. How very perceptive of you. I mean, I will hang round a car showroom, but that's not shopping, is it? You see what? Oh, investment, is it? Investment, yeah, right. No, of course it's shopping. But men will spend huge amounts of money. I mean, they'll spend thousands and thousands of pounds, not just on cars, but on DVDs, on clothes as well. I think the difference is that they'll have a huge blowout and then that'll be done. That'll be done for 6 months or something, where a woman can spend a lot of money, but then the next week it's like amnesia. It's, no, I've forgotten all that. I need to do it again. So it's more a chronic thing. It is. It's a sort of ongoing. The appetite is sort of little and often. Also, women are promiscuous when it comes to clothes. It has to be said. You know, you men are quite faithful to your pair of jeans that you've had a while, your jacket that's been in the cupboard for 10 years or so. Whereas a woman, no. For us, familiarity breeds contempt. Absolutely, yes. We like what we know. You're loyal. It's very nice. But women, wear it once, out it goes. Your heroine, she has a job. She knows about. Well, she kind of professionally knows about money. In one side of her brain, she knows about money. This is the thing. Only in one side. She's sort of lobotomized, really. She is. She's got a little wall dividing her brain between what I say and what I do. I think a lot of us can do this. We can act in one way at work. We're all professional, we're mature, we have views on the world or whatever it is. And then at home, it sort of vanishes and we turn into a different person. Or is it just me? Do you know about money professionally? Well, I used to. I was a financial journalist, like my heroine, and I wrote an awful lot of quite, sensible sounding articles about money, quite technical, some of them. But I didn't really know it. It wasn't in me. I could sort of write it on the surface. So you could write with your brain, but actually your heart was... I didn't feel it, no. I mean, the other things, I think a lot of journalists will tell you that you learn about a subject, and for about a week you know it really intimately. You know the questions to ask, you know the words to use, and then you write your piece, and then it all goes, you forget. So that was what I was like a bit. It was sort of skating around on the surface. I had all these jargon and principles and when to start a pension and how much money you might make, but it didn't really sink in. No, it's just dull, isn't it? Well, it is. I mean, let's face it. I mean, if in those days when you'd been single, were you ever... Could you ever have fallen for someone who's chat out loud and said, well, I really want to be an accountant? I mean, Well, only if it was him or the guy who wanted to be the actuary. And then
Oh, right, okay.
then I might have gone for the accountant. No, I did meet an awful lot of, dull people, it has to be said, but very sweet. And the sad thing is that actually when you're in it, you do sort of get into it, and you can kid yourself that whether the government changes this titchy piece of legislation is really exciting until you take a step back, or as I did, leave my job and suddenly think, hang on, what was all that about?
Yes. What's your heroine called?
She's called Becky Bloomwood.
She's quite pretty, I would imagine.
Oh yes, pretty, but not stunningly beautiful. Just she really is every girl. She's nice looking, got a reasonably good job that she's reasonably good at, reasonably happy. She's not the sort of angsty looking for Mr. Right, where is my life going at all. I'm happy. My only tiny problem is I can't stop going out in my lunch hour and buying shoes, which I think is a problem quite a lot of people might relate to.
Yes, and so she tries to corral, she tries to form a committee against the world, like her bank manager. I've never written to my bank manager like she writes to hers. No,
I'm not sure a lot of people have, but I just couldn't resist that the excuses. It goes along with the justifications. It's on sale. It's this sort of the dream world of her. And when the bank manager chases her answer is not to say, oh, well, I'll go and see him. Her answer is to say, sorry, I can't see you, I've broken my leg. And then the next week, sorry, I can't see you, I've got glandular fever. And I think as I was writing the book, these letters kind of got more and more outrageous. And this bank manager, who we didn't see, became such a character. I had to bring him in because he was actually quite a key person in her life.
And she works on sort of breakfast TV show or mid-morning.
She does. She's graduated. In the first book she was writing the articles on money, and now she's actually sitting on television telling people how to spend wisely.
Yes. And she's even been commissioned to write a book.
She has.
Is she good at that?
I have to say that is one of my favourite bits of the Shopaholic Abroad, is when she's sitting down and she's trying to write this book. And she hasn't even sort of started, but she's already thinking, don't I need a few accessories to help me? Don't I need a good chair? And don't I need a sort of writer's... So she ends up just shopping on the internet. And then the extent of her book that she actually manages to write is just, finance is very... That's as far as she gets.
Shopping on the internet, it's not like shopping though, is it?
It's not real shopping, no. It's not really a big part of her life, because I don't think it's the same. The joy of shopping, as it is for Becky, is going into the shop, touching, feeling, enjoying yourself, and it's experience, and it's actually a sort of social intercourse as well. You go out, you see people, you talk, you ask their advice, and just sitting at home kind of grimly clicking, no, not the same at all.
No. And she has got a bloke.
She has got a bloke.
And he seems all right.
He's great. Yeah. Someone said the other day, what the hell is he doing with her? It's like, no, he loves her. He's quite a high flyer. He's a bit of a workaholic, which is perhaps why she spends the hours going shopping.
What makes her go to New York?
Well, that's all part of the plot. But basically, it's work opportunities for both of them, for her chap and for her. But it's slightly pie in the sky. It's not definite yet. So when she's going out, it's very much as a sort of recce. And of course she gets completely carried away, both by the sort of dazzlement of thinking I'm going to be an American TV star, and then hand in hand with that goes so I'd better buy myself a few new outfits.
Yes, I mean, and she discovers this thing. I mean, I knew they probably existed, but I've never been to one. A sample sale?
Sample sale. Big in New York. In a way that it isn't so much over here. I mean, it really is like kind of Bush Telegraph. People going, there's a sample sale on 34th Street. There's a sample sale on 34th Street. And everyone kind of migrating to 34th Street in this sort of desperate rush to find, a Donna Karan dress for $3 or whatever they think it is. It really is a big thing. And she completely gets into that. I mean, she tries to be a tourist. She tries to do New York properly. So she goes on the walking tour. But when everybody else is going around looking at the landmarks, she's just looking in the shop windows. So she's kind of in trouble from day one.
And she does blow it, doesn't she?
She blows it big, yeah. I mean, New York is a place of extremes, as we all know. And she has her incredible highs. She thinks life is going to be on another level, really. She feels she's turning into somebody else. She thinks she's turning into a movie star. And so when the crash comes, it's really, really big. And she has to find a way to get out of it.
Now, as we speak, in the papers yesterday, your book was in the chart. Mm-hmm. That must be a high for you.
That was really exciting because it's a sequel as well. You always think, oh, you know, I love this character so much, I don't want to let her go, but will other people want to come back and read her again? And the fact that it's gone straight in to the bestseller charts is such a lovely feeling, because it shows that people love Becky like I do, and they want to see what's happened to her.
Because, as you say, this is a different genre. It isn't sex and shopping. Really? Mm-mm. It's shopping.
It's shopping and a bit of sex, but not very much.
There's not a lot. It's not there in the quantities that shifts books.
No, but the shopping is sort of, you know, for many women, what would you prefer to do? You know, have dodgy sex or go and buy a great bag?
Oh, it's depressing. It really is. They must all be women.
I think a lot of them are women. Although I have had, you know, correspondence from the odd man. It's not purely a female thing, but I think a lot of girls do relate to this.
But the fabulous thing, as far as you're concerned, is that you would buy this and enjoy it if you identified. And you've identified something that a lot of people identify with, and that's why they buy it in huge quantities. So actually, you are hitting the button. You've got a success.
Well, I hope so. I mean, it's sort of, you don't think of it like that when you're writing it. People say, oh, well, you've identified, you know, a trend. But for me, it was just, this is what I think is funny. This is the way I feel when I go into a shop. So I'm just going to see if anyone else finds it funny. And then it turns out that everybody else sort of thinks in the same way. I mean, I just think it's great. And I'm so fond of Becky. I'm so fond of all the characters. They've all come back. They've all got stories. I mean, it's just tremendous fun to write.
It's called Shopaholic Abroad. One final thing. What was it in that bag? What have you just bought?
Well, I have to say, it is rather lovely. Long wool coat with a leather cord tying it up. Very, very nice.
Was it a bargain?
It was a bargain, actually. It wasn't on sale, but I thought it was a very good price. Yeah, no, very pleased.
You're celebrating the fact you got a bestseller.
Well, exactly.
That can justify anything.
I think so.
Champagne tonight. That's Sophie Kinsella, Shopaholic Abroad, published by Black Swan. Thanks for listening to this episode of ConversationCast. All our episodes are also available on YouTube. Just head to YouTube and search for CC followed by the guest's name. For example, search for CC Michel Roux and you'll find that you're at our YouTube channel.